Not too far from the Church of San Pudenziana, near the Colosseum and the Roman Forum, is the Church of St. Peter in Chains. The Empress Eudoxia founded the church in the 5th century to hold prison chains from Jerusalem and Rome that held Peter the Apostle. Of course, you may wonder about the chains and turn rather to Michelangelo's statue of Moses in the same church. But whatever you think of the chains, the Empress chose a good place to hold them. The Roman prefecture, where justice was dispensed, was just south of the church. Rome's main prison was nearby, where people were tortured and questioned. Not too far from here, those who were condemned were beheaded or strangled, or thrown to wild animals in the Colosseum. Christians were among those convicted here from the 1st century till the early 4th century, and so this church stands on holy ground. The Christians we recall here especially were those persecuted by the Emperor Nero around the year 65. The apostles Peter and Paul died in that persecution. Nero's persecution followed an early morning fire on July 19, 64, which broke out in a small shop by the Circus Maximus and spread rapidly to other regions of Rome. It raged for 9 days and destroyed much of the city. More than 1 million people, packed into apartment blocks of wooden construction, were affected. Only 2 areas escaped the fire. One, Trastevere, across the Tiber River, had a large Jewish population. The Emperor Nero was at his seaside villa in Anzio when the blaze began, and he delayed returning to the city. They say that when he heard the news, he began composing an ode comparing Rome to the burning city of Troy. As you can imagine, people were upset. Rumors began that Nero himself set the fire in order to rebuild the city from plans of his own. To stop the rumors, Nero decided to blame someone else, and he chose a group of renegade Jews called Christians who had caused trouble in the city before. Earlier, about the year 49, the Emperor Claudius had banished some of them from Rome for starting upheavals in the Jewish synagogues of the city where they disputed about Christ. Where they lived and met was well known. Following the usual procedure, the authorities seized some of them and brought them to the prefecture and forced them by torture to give the names of others. Nero was the first to rage with Caesar's sword against this sect, wrote the early Christian writer Tertullian. To suppress the rumor, the Roman historian Tacitus says, Nero created scapegoats. He punished with every kind of cruelty the notoriously depraved group known as Christians. Just how long the process went on and how many were killed, the Roman historian does not say. But let's go back to the chains under the altar of the church. The Empress Eudoxia brought 2 chains to be enshrined here. One was from a Jerusalem prison, and the other from a Roman prison, possibly the one nearby. These ancient chains, then, held countless frightened people awaiting Roman justice. They held also faithful Christians, maybe even Peter and Paul. We celebrate the memory of those who suffered in Nero's persecution, our ancestors in faith, on June the 30th, following the feast of St. Peter and Paul. This church is a good place to remember them, along with the apostle who was their shepherd.